Hi everyone, welcome back or welcome in if this is your first time to my channel. Today I am filming my first ever Will I Buy It? This is a series started by Samantha March here on YouTube, and now a lot of other creators participate as well. So I am just going to be walking through some new releases, talking about whether I'm interested in picking them up or not. And then I'm also going to provide some kind of updated thoughts now that I've gone through all of January without buying any makeup or makeup related products. I want to give my thoughts on that and kind of how I'm planning to approach my February low buy month. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so I want to start out here with two launches that I know I'm interested in for sure. The first is Auric Beauty, which is Samantha Robindahl's new brand, completely new brand, and she launched two products for this kind of first initial launch. The first is the Glow Lust, and I know I want this product, and I want the shade Morganite, which is the fairest shade of 7. And then I'm also considering picking up one of the Smoke Reflex, which is a little eyeshadow duo in the shade Defiance, which is like a bronzy toned cream shadow, and then it comes with a gold kind of lid topper powder shadow. Those are the things I'm hoping to pick up from Auric, and I'll talk about this more when I get to the end of this video where I talk about kind of my thoughts and feelings about doing a no buy in January. But I will say this brand launched on January 26th. It was super close to the end of my no buy month. I decided to wait it out and just purchase it on February 1st. But as of filming this video on the 29th, both of the things I wanted to buy are actually sold out. So that has been a hard learned lesson for me, but I'm hoping they will restock in February during my low buy and I'll be able to pick those items up. The other item that got me really close to breaking my no buy in January was the concealer from The Ordinary. So I have the serum foundation, the coverage foundation, and also the silicone primer from The Ordinary. Those are their 3 sort of makeup products right now. The majority of their brand is focused on skincare, but I have really fallen in love with their complexion products. So I'm definitely going to buy this concealer from them now that they've finally launched one after kind of teasing a new product for years. I am sort of waiting for it to come to Ulta because I have some other things to pick up from Ulta, and I'd rather not pay for, like $6 shipping on a $6 concealer on The Ordinary's website. It launched on January 19th, so it's a little bit of old news by this point, but just a heads up that I do have full intentions of purchasing that and reviewing it on my channel. So let's take a minute and also just talk about Colourpop's releases lately. So they've released a ton of stuff, and I'm not going to try to touch on all of it here, but as I scroll through, two things that kind of catch my eye that I have sort of strong feelings on are the Animal Crossing collection and then the Wild Child collection as well. So the Animal Crossing collection is just a huge no for me. I don't play Animal Crossing. I've heard it's really fun. I think these shadows look more or less cute, and the rest of the collection is cute as well. But because I don't have any kind of like emotional attachment to the game itself, I don't really see any need for me to pick these up. Also, it's really overpriced. So it's $12 for those quads. And normally Colourpop's 9-pan palettes are like in the $12 range. So I can't believe they're selling these quads for 12 bucks. I know that licensing and all of that costs money, so I get it, but I also think they're kind of just ripping people off here, and I don't love that. The Wild Child palette, on the other hand, is kind of a maybe for me. I actually went on the Colourpop website, put it in my cart, and almost checked out the day that it launched because Colourpop was also having a 25% off site-wide sale, so this palette would have been $9. But it looks like there's one pressed glitter, and then there's also one other shade that's marked as, like not safe for eyes. They're required to mark stuff like that when it's like a glitter-based product. But basically, when I realized that 2 of the shadows were probably pretty glitter heavy, and just knowing my personal preferences that I don't love glitter shadows, I decided to pass on this one for now. I might pick it up after I hear some reviews if I think it would add something to my collection, but I'm not gonna rush out and buy that one just yet. I'm also now just realizing that almost all of the new releases that are catching my attention, either positively or negatively, almost all of them are eyeshadow palettes. So the next thing I want to mention is the Natasha Denona Mini Love palette. So this is one of her little 5-pan mini sized palettes. The MIDI, like MIDI sized Love palette came out last year around Valentine's Day, and it has always been marked as limited edition, but it's still around a year later, so I'm not sure what's up with that. But this mini one is essentially a complementary color story to that palette. And initially, when I saw that this was being released, I really, really, really wanted it. I looked at those shades, especially that kind of like second one in, that matte mauve shade, and just fell in love. No pun intended. And I've also been really interested in purchasing one of these mini palettes from the brand. So I almost jumped on this and bought it, but the more I looked at it and the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I already have all of these shades somewhere else in my collection in a formula that I already love. In particular, I think that my little quad here from Auric Beauty actually gives me really similar vibes. So I have that nice mauve shade. It is a slightly different tone, but it probably gives me a similar effect on the eyes. I have that really nice, deep, rich purple. And then these two shimmers are also incredibly gorgeous. The only shade I felt like I didn't really have in this palette is kind of that one all the way at the end that's a brighter pink shimmer, and it looks pretty pink, and shades like that aren't always my favorite, so I probably would not have used that shade that much anyways. So I just don't think it makes sense for me to buy this palette when I already have a nice travel-friendly palette that is similar tones. Okay, I'm seeing here the Dominique Cosmetics Transition palette. This is an all matte palette. It's big, it has a lot of shades in there, and to be honest, this just doesn't interest me at all. Basically, it looks like a ton of shades that are all neutrals and they're all mattes, and I know myself, and I just know that I would never ever reach for this. Almost all of my palettes have mattes in them. I also have some single shadow mattes from Sydney Grace. I could see this being super useful for someone who's like a professional makeup artist, but I can't even really imagine like the normal consumer needing anywhere near this number of shadows for just matte neutral shades. Oh, and this one, oh, this palette, this Kaleidos collab with Angelica Nyquist. She's here on YouTube. I absolutely adore her content. She's one of my biggest inspirations for more colorful eyeshadow. So I know I said I've been into neutrals lately, but her channel is absolutely awesome. Definitely go check it out if you like color. And I'm so excited because she collaborated with Colloid Cosmetics on a palette. Kaleidos is one of the tippy top brands that I really, really, really want to try this year because I hear their formulas are just out of this world good. So I want to try them so badly. And when I heard she was collaborating with them, I was so, so excited to buy that palette. But the more I looked at it, the more I realized I'm just not going to use it. I think this is her perfect palette, and I think it's a lot of people's perfect palette. If you really love color, I think it would be stunning to own this palette. The whole concept is awesome, and the color selection in here is impeccable if you love colorful shades. I just know myself, and I know I wouldn't give it the love it deserves, and I don't want to buy it just so that it kind of sits on the shelf. So I wish that I was purchasing this palette, but I'm not. Another exciting eyeshadow palette collab that I'm super, super pumped about is the Sydney Grace and Temptalia palettes. So they released some more sneak peeks, and it looks like it's going to be 3 separate palettes that you can buy separately and should be like, you know, cohesive color stories within themselves. But then if you buy the whole collection, the cover artwork on each of them like lines up into one really, really stunning, gorgeous, like nighttime lake scene. So there haven't been any sneak peeks of what the shadows look like or the color stories look like, but just based on what is being shown so far and the fact that it's Temptalia, which is a creator that I really admire, and Sydney Grace, a brand whose products are absolutely beautiful, I feel like this could be a contender for me to pick up when it is released. And then the last thing I want to touch on today is the Personae E-Balms. So these sort of snuck under my radar until after they were already released. I didn't feel like I saw any like sneak peeks or anything like that. But then all of a sudden they were like on their website, and I was on there and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a new product. And I went back and looked at their social media and they had announced it. I just kind of missed it. And ironically, it's something I'm really interested in. So it's basically a tinted lip balm, and I want it really, really badly. I want kind of honestly all three shades, but especially that kind of like nude rosy one. But here's the thing, they're $22 each. And that seems pretty pricey to me for a lip balm. I just feel like they overpriced that one just a little bit. I mean, time will tell, the market will tell. People might buy this and love them, and they might totally take off at that $22 mark, but I just can't imagine myself ever spending $22 on a lip balm. So that wraps up kind of my little chat about new releases and my thoughts on them. And I want to transition quickly into a very short discussion about how my January no buy went and kind of what I'm looking for in my February low buy. So not buying anything in January actually went pretty well, I think, especially because it comes right after the holiday season when I was kind of in spend mode, not only on myself, but also on family and friends for the holidays. So I think it felt pretty natural to me actually to take a break from spending in January. That is until the releases started coming that I was interested in. So at the very beginning of this will I buy it portion of this video, I mentioned two products that I know I'm going to purchase now that my no buy is over. And that's the Ordinary Concealer, which is like a $6 product, no problem waiting on that, not a big deal. But the other one was the Auric brand launch products. And I have a lot of regret and sadness around the fact that the products and shades that I wanted to purchase from Auric are sold out already. I know they'll be restocked. I know it's not that big of a deal. I was just so excited for that launch, and I got myself so pumped up and had already set aside a big chunk of my February low buy budget to purchase specifically the Glow Lust in particular, that it was a little bit of a letdown to see that my shades sold out so fast. I know it takes brands a while to restock things, so if this isn't restocked in February during my low buy, I'll set aside that chunk of my budget and I will actually purchase it just whenever it becomes available. So even if that's during my March no buy month, so be it. So I will be picking that up, and that is probably my only downside or regret that I can mention from the no buy experience I had this January. Now on to the positives of this experience so far. So I would say the biggest thing I got out of not purchasing anything new in January is really taking the time to catch up on reviews and really formulate full, complete thoughts on the products I already owned. So oftentimes I found myself when I started my channel purchasing something new, using it once or twice, and then kind of setting it to the side because something new had come in the mail since then. So having this full month to sit down with everything in my collection and really just play around with everything and really solidify my thoughts on the things I already owned helped me realize that there aren't nearly as many gaps in my makeup collection as I originally thought. So I wanted to use January as a chance to kind of informally inventory my own collection and say, okay, what things do I wish I really had here? But it really made me face the fact that I purchased a lot of makeup in 2020, and I am pretty content with where my collection is at right now. That of course doesn't mean that new products won't crop up that I'm excited about, but I think it helped me just realize how happy I am with what I own and how much I love the makeup that I have right now. It also helped me realize that I need to do a declutter, so that's probably coming sometime this month, just because I realized what I was and was not reaching for consistently. And the last thing it really did for me was make me look at my collection with a new set of eyes. So every time these new launches came out, if it caught my eye and I was excited about it, I immediately went to my own collection and looked at what I had that was similar. And although it was very rare that, you know, I had one item that could kind of like dupe the new release completely. So like I said, with this Aether one, I mean, this is more or less exactly the same thing that I would have gotten out of that Natasha Denona palette. That was pretty rare. It was more common that I would look at like 3 of my eyeshadow palettes and realize like, okay, this combination of 3 palettes gives me that new release dead on, spot on, exactly the same shades, color selection, formulas, etc. So it really helped me think more about combining my palettes and looking at things in a new light. I really enjoyed that process. So if you would be interested in kind of seeing me walk through my thought process there in an actual like anti-haul style video or like duping things within my own collection video, let me know down in the comments because I'd be happy to do that maybe like in March during my next no-buy period and kind of let you know what I'm doing instead of buying makeup. So overall, January was a really good experience. I'll have to update you all at the end of February after I kind of make some purchases to let you know what I spent my low buy month on. And we'll go from there throughout the year, alternating low buy and no buy. And I'll just do my best to keep you updated on how I'm feeling about it as we go. If you enjoyed this video today, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel before you go. I would also really appreciate it if you would take the time to comment down below and like this video if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you next time.